I'm Adam Collins at Adelaide Oval, Cricket Buzz Centerstage. Evening 2 of the second test match between Australia and Pakistan. We've been saying it for years, that one day David Warner would bat and bat and bat, then bat some more the next day and make his way to a gigantic test score. And that's precisely what he did on this second afternoon, where he made it to 335 not out before Australia declared at 589 for 3. Gigantic total, but let's focus on Warner. It's all about the left-handed opener. Of course, he was already well over 100 overnight, nearing 200. He got there early. He continued with Marnus Labuschagne. He did lose the number 3 at one stage. It didn't matter. He had Stephen Smith and Matthew Wade for support on the way through, putting on substantial partnerships with both. And Warner wasn't going to be stopped today. He said that he had regrets back in 2015, coming back over 200 on day 2 and falling shortly thereafter. That wasn't going to happen this time around. He saw it as a once-in-a-career opportunity to go and make a triple hundred. It's the 31st time in all test matches. Remember, they started playing test matches in 1877, and today's just the 31st time a man has made it above 300 in a test match. A truly mighty effort. And here was David Warner after play discussing how he saw the opportunity and he wasn't going to let it go.
Today, just sort of sunk into me that it's very rare that you get these opportunities. Given that there's still a lot of time left in the game, and looking up the scoreboard, and I think there was a time where it was like 71 overs to go still, and I think on 250 odd, I think it was. I was like, this is probably a chance I'm probably never going to get. Especially here at Adelaide Oval, the pink ball. I think, I'll cherish this moment for the rest of my life, definitely.
In doing so, David Warner just passed the revered 334, which is, of course, what Donald Bradman made at Leeds in 1930. Of course, it's what Mark Taylor declared on in 1998 in Pakistan after batting for a couple of days. He said after play they had a decision made in advance, so we're going to stop their innings at 540 regardless, and it was just coincidental that he passed the score by 1 run. It's elicited a certain amount of controversy. I mentioned it's a revered figure. There's a certain amount of mystique around 334 in Australian cricket, but Warner isn't too concerned. He knows that what he was doing was working towards the plan the team had in place before he walked out to bat this afternoon.
Then I came in, I think, at that break, and I said, when are we declaring? And they said, 5:40. I said, okay. So I kept on asking when we were out there. Since I got to 5, then 10 past 5, and I was making sure that was still the message, and it was. Until I think that last over before, I think it just ticked over, and I think Painey wanted me to try and get past that 334 mark. Passing Sir Don Bradman's highest test score. You look at it as a kid growing up and thinking, who is ever going to beat that? In general, and then obviously Brian Lara goes on and gets 400, made that look easy, and then you had Matthew Hayden get 380. Obviously Tubby against Pakistan, he equaled Don Bradman. I thought Michael Clark might have passed it there, but he declared, and it's something that in the back of your mind you never think you're ever going to get yourself, definitely, but when you got an opportunity like that, you obviously try your best to try and see how good you are against the greatest that we've ever had.
Perhaps more interestingly, when we were talking to Warner after play, it was his discussion around how he has evolved as a test cricketer. He cited Verinder Sehwag, a man who of course made test triple hundreds himself at the start of his IPL journey, all the way back at the very start of his professional career, who told him, you're going to be a better test player than you are a white ball player, despite what it might look at the start. Here's how he elaborated on that.
Well, when I got the opportunity to play for Delhi in the IPL, and I met Viru there, he sat down to me, and I'll quote him forever, that he said, I'll be a better test player than 2020 player. And I said to him, you're out of your mind. Like, I hadn't played many first class games. And he always said to me, he goes, what, they have some slips, a gully, covers open, mid wickets just there, mid off, mid on or up, and you just play your way and you'll get off to a flyer and sit there all day and you'll be picking them all off. And That's always just stuck in the back of my mind. That sounded very easy when he was discussing that.
Because Australia closed their innings so early on this extended second day, they got plenty of overs at Pakistan and they did not miss. Pakistan, frankly, have completely lost the will to participate in this test match, or so it seems, looking at the way their top order batted this evening, wafting at balls that weren't there to play at. It might be a product of spending so many hours in the field over the last couple of weeks, both at Brisbane and here at Adelaide, but the resistance was limited. They've lost 6 wickets already. Looking at the old scoreboard over there, only 96 runs on the board, so they're nearly 500 runs in arrears. 4 wickets in hand in the first innings, and even though it's scheduled to rain here in Adelaide tomorrow for the majority of the day, Australia will have 2 days to take 14 wickets. It could be a rare case where they even enforce the follow-on. And just one last thing to note from the end of the David Warner press conference. He said that he has to get very smart and manage the last stanza of his career. Look, it may not very well be the last stanza of his career. He's only 33 years old, but we know that playing 3 formats at the international level, being such a star of the Indian Premier League, he acknowledges that might require some management, which may very well mean that the international T20 format gets jettisoned after next year's World T20. Here's what he said about that.
Really haven't put any thought into what I'll do first, whether it's give away 2020 internationals to free up some time for the test matches. I think that will probably come around the corner after next year's World Cup. I might have to think about it. I think there's a World Cup 6 months after that as well. So I think something's going to have to give. It's also another opportunity for a youngster to come through. We've got great depth in Australian cricket, and I had the luxury of coming through and being that person thrown out there to sort of a little bit of a testing guinea pig kind of material, and I hope it really does happen down the line, and these youngsters coming through playing 2020 cricket get that bag of green.
So a day that started talking about partnership records between Warner and Labuschagne, who put on well over 350, ended talking about David Warner, the 7th time an Australian batsman has made in excess of 300 in a test match. It was an utter joy to watch. Thanks for being with us on Cricket Buzz Centre Stage. It looks like it's going to be a test match that ends prematurely. Australia right on top, Pakistan utterly reeling. We'll talk to you tomorrow.